Hello guys, this is a quick add-on to your Lab 3 for you guys to understand what's going to be the easier way to sort out the screen, the widgets, your widget elements status, and then calculate something and display it back to the screen, right? So here let me just to show you guys a quick examples like a couple radio buttons and one more and one more like this. So we have three radio buttons. So here in let's say one checkbox is here. Yeah, I noticed this is pretty much the challenging sort of problem. So okay, let me just give it a try. So that yeah, here we go. So let's say this radio button is supposed to uh, say like the price or something, and then this checkbox means like a plus like this, and then we have a label around here, so like a price like this. Here we go. So if we run it, then it just says like our application, it just shows up with application iris fine like this, like this, like this, right? And check, it doesn't really show up anything though, but this is a good example. So let me first say this one, let's have this checked just in case, you know, the radio button. If you have a radio button, then always this is better for you to have you know, the default checked, default option. So okay, let's say radio button, let's set the name like radio button 150 and radio button 250 and radio button 350, and your label is just a label and a checkbox plus 50 like this. Okay, and let me just to make sure, run it once again, and make sure all the resources and the names are reflected back to the UI. And here we go. So you may want to make your all the logics are very responsive to the user inputs, right? So you may want to say like um, you know, start implementing all the logics for the event handlers or something like that. So okay, that's fine. But the most important thing you guys may want to do is to make a calculating function so that in a private as a private member function, you may want to say like a calculate, like this is just a member function, and yeah, let's say void calculate, right? And then inside of a CPP you have, so to say, um, void main window, this is my class name, and calculate. All right, and here we go. So here, let's say this is a kind of ultimate calculation function, picking up all the informations from your form and then calculate the subtotal or something, so that UI and radio button 150, and if you say get check, oh, what is that? The status, what is that? Yeah. Radio button check state. No, like, what is this? Help me. Is checked, right? Right, is checked. This is supposed to return a boolean, right? So if UI radio button 150 is checked, then you define a double variable like price subtotal is 0f, and then like this. And else if you guys can use else if or something, but as far as we know, radio button only can have only one checked, so like you can just use if and if series of ifs, right? So this is totally fine. And yeah, I'm too much used to the use of a floating point. I mean, it's in a Python sort of kind of a thing, so please excuse. And if UI and checkbox plus 50 is checked, right? Is checked is totally fine. Otherwise, check state is also one, but on check state means like check state returns an integer value. If it's 0 is not checked. If it's 1 is partially checked, and on 2 is completely checked. Most of the cases you use completely checked and then unchecked, so like either 0 or 2. So like if this is 0 means like it is not checked, but it's not non-zero means like okay, then on subtotal it is checked. Subtotal plus add 0.50 to subtotal, and then label UI label. You have your subtotal, right? And then you just let's say it's not completely lazy because calculate function is supposed to calculate, but let me add one more functionality, that is updating the label. UI label and set text is that price n plus Q string. If you'd like to convert the number to Q string, you can use number and subtotal, right? And yeah, please go ahead and check this reference of the Q string number and the Q string number to have an idea how to format that if you'd like. And we just define the calculate. So let's say we call it in the first. It's a first time. We call it first time in a constructor, right? So it is now 150, right? And if you like to make that function called every time you click something, then what you do is pretty much easy. Go to slot, and if this if this button is clicked, then it's good, right? Clicked, right? So now it's here. So I think I need to make a display capture. This one. Okay, I now put my cams out, and here on radio button clicked, then you simply calculate, right? And get back and go to slot and clicked, and also you calculate, right? And then get back to UI, and this guy, go to slot, clicked, and calculate. So one thing is that you need to be a little bit careful. I mean, go to slot, you need to click the Q abstract buttons clicked. I mean, the main event, right? So I mean, not the others, but you may want to give it a try and make sure to check if it's correctly set. I mean, the event handler. So like Q checkbox here is a state change it, or clicked while server is fine. Whatever you run, state change it is still fine. I mean, whenever it's a state change it, it's actually called, which means like when it is clicked, right? This is actually the same timing. So like whatever you choose is totally fine. So calculate, and make sure that your calculate function is called every time you make changes. I mean, a user make changes, right? And then we run. then you have this, right? And then it runs like 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and added 4, and 3.5, and 2.5, 3, and 2.5, like that. So you have only one function, right? You have only one function, taking care of the actual calculation. You may say like, oh, Dr. Park, is it okay to, calculate back up from the scratch? It is totally fine. Your computer is fast enough to do that, right? So this one is a quick tip, how you guys can consolidate, everything, all the functionality in one quick function, and then your event handler just simply call that, which is pretty cool, right? Hope this helps, and I hope you guys can save some time through, this video, following this video, and get more focus on the actual user study. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you.